So I felt led to do this. I have a little bit of a cold. And yeah, I was supposed to go to my daughter's pumpkin festival thing. And I was supposed to, get festive and shit, but I didn't really feel too good. So, plus I have a little break from the children's. So I figured I'd do some shadow readings. If you guys have questions about anything that you need to look into, work into, if you guys have a spooky question that you want to ask, for example, is there something haunting me? Is there a unwanted, unfriendly presence around me? And I'll be honest and blunt as possible with you because I know it's a touchy subject, so I don't want to scare nobody. I like playing with filters if you don't notice. So yeah. So don't be scared, you guys. I know this is not um, the most fun type of readings, and some people like, readings like this. So yeah, don't be shy, don't be afraid. Like, this is to help you release whatever needs to be released. Scorpio season is perfect for shadow work. So, just saying. Alright. So, I'm just going to go ahead and start my reading. I'm just going to pull a couple of cards until the live fills up. Nobody's watching, probably, at this time. Nobody probably wants to hear no shit like this, but let's see what messages, Divine Spirit, Ancestors. I'm going to use the Santa Muerte deck for this reading, just to see what Spirit wants to say. What are the messages? Any messages from Divine Spirit? Well, really what I wanted to do before I even came up with this, I wanted to, I don't know if you would call it like a celebrity reading. I don't really do those often unless I feel led to or somebody requests like through a donation or something, then I'll do it. But, I felt led to ask, like, what's up with all these celebrity car accidents? Isn't that a little weird to y'all? Like, am I the only one? Well, I know I'm not the only one because I talked to one of my sisters about it, but I was like, something's a little bit weird with that. And, this is like a time where a lot of people do rituals and stuff and sacrifices and stuff like that. Some not for good purposes, and I said to myself this week, I was like, there's something with these fucking, like, these celebrity car accidents within like a week, 2 week span. Like, something's weird about it. And I was like, celebrity's gonna die soon. And I don't feel like any of the recent deaths, like the comedian John Witherspoon, I don't really feel like that's a sacrifice. I wouldn't categorize that as that. If you guys believe in conspiracy theories, if they want to call it, I actually feel like it. I don't know. Like, that came to me this week. I was like, a celebrity's gonna die because it's kind of weird. Like, why do we keep getting like media posts about a celebrity was in a car accident, and it's weird to me. So originally, I wanted to pull on that and see what that was about. So I might just go ahead and do that. Since y'all acting scurry, nobody wants to ask a question. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay, the kids are back. I thought I was gonna have some quiet time, but that didn't work. Anyway, let's pull on that. Divine Spirit, Ancestors, what's up with that? and we'll quote this as entertainment purposes only. Let's see. What is ooh, you have King of Wands. King of Wands, if you want to do that. Hold on, let me update my. And then recently too, the whole Kevin Hart thing. That, and not only that, his little documentary or whatever, little mini thing came out on social media. Both, like I had two of my soul sisters send me a video about it, and I just, it's something weird to it. Anyway, King of Wands. The Chariot. The Chariot in traditional tarot, you know, is like a car. Technically, it's a form of transportation. The Six of Cups, or is the Nine? Yeah, the Six of Cups and Justice. King of Pentacles. Okay. This is interesting. There's definitely like some divine order involved with this, or some sort of I get karma, something about karma. So I don't know if this is like tapping into what's his name? Kevin Hart's energy. I don't know what his zodiac sign is. I don't remember because I did a reading on him before. Um, but I feel like this has something to do with karmic energies with the Justice card. And she's giving me, well, of course, it's Santa Muerte. Um, but this looks like the Death card, low key, though, at the same time. But it's the Justice card. So there's something about karmic debt or something like that. I don't know. Let's see. The Four of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords. Something may be like to look like an accident. If that ever does happen, this is past tense. I feel the Six of Cups could be past tense. It something about money, or something that's just owed. And with the Seven of Swords, it's like that's deceptive energy. It's not. Some of this could be money behind it. Like some of these things could be money scams or something I'm getting. I don't know why I'm getting that. If it's not connected to just one specific person, then this could be like what it's all about. So I'm getting different messages with this. And I'm trying to like piece it all together. So you have the Four of Wands. This could represent family. This could represent like home. Let's see. I hate to ask this, but I'm just be honest. Is there a reason why specifically? Like, is there anything sinister to this? Was there anything sinister to these car accidents, or are they just coincidences? Two of Pentacles. That doesn't help. Thank you. The Strength card. What's that movie called? Is it Nacho Libre or something like that? It looks like a fighter, like a wrestler, like a Mexican fighter, wrestler, whatever. I don't know why I get the feeling that this is going back to Kevin Hart for some reason. I'm not trying to like block myself. I'm trying to really get to the root of this, but this is like really fucking with me. Okay, if this is Kevin Hart's energy, which I kind of feel like it is, spilling into the reading, I feel like this has something to do with karmic energy, but it seems like it's made to look one way when it's really not. It looks like it was supposed to be an accident. Like, oh, God did this and this was to wake me up. But who's to say? I mean, God is in charge of things. God allows things to happen. But I feel like it was more to it. I feel has something to do with money. I feel like money is the root. Something about a relationship is also involved with this too. This was also like meant to break him. Okay. Anything connected to the other deaths? Let's see. To the other accidents, excuse me. The other accidents. What is that about? The world card. Ten of Pentacles. Something about a completion. This is fucking weird. Ace of Pentacles. There's something karmic with this energy. I just keep getting that. Like, is there anything to what I'm picking up about a celebrity dying? Is there anything I'm picking up from that? The Moon card, the Death card, which is the Morphe card, the Knight of Wands, which can also be reckless driving, or someone that's just reckless. The Seven of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. In a way, I feel like yes, but I don't feel like it has anything to do with a physical death. At least not in a car accident. It could be due to something else. There's guns. I just get like this energy with Scorpio season. It's like a lot of rituals going on, so you have to be discerning with certain things. It's a possibility. I mean, because that came to me a couple of days ago, and a celebrity did die, but it wasn't in a tragic way. Like nothing bad or terrible happened to him. Like nothing tragic or accidental happened. So, as far as we know. Yeah, I don't know. Did you guys have any questions? Questionals? Any questions? Because I know this is kind of like touchy, and my audience on my YouTube channel is changing because my readings, they're not always light and fluffy, and I don't feel like it's not really helpful to always just focus on and highlight on the light and fluffy stuff. It's kind of like you see like a dirty house, but you just sweep the shit under the rug, hide the fact that your counter is dirty as fuck, and you put a coffee mug over a stain and pretend like it's not there. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm one of those people which is very few channels that do highlight stuff. So, you know, if you guys are not scared to ask a question, ask a question, ask a question. That's, you know, what can I do to heal this, or what do I need to release? What can I work on, you know, myself? That type of thing. What's up, Ariel? I don't know if you're still on, but what's up? Yeah. Don't be scared, you guys. Like, I mean, there's only two of you on here. Greetings, Julia. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys have a question, don't feel free to ask. What do I need to work on? Maybe I should just start a new room. Oh, here we have somebody. What can I work on to heal from past hurts? What can you work on to heal past hurts? That's a good question. What can she work on? Ancestors and spirit guides, whatever the guide and sister, what can she do to work on? Um, what does she need to do? To heal her past hurts. Thank you. Okay, so you have masquerade, which is number 15, and if you add that up, that's number 16 or number 6. Which number 6 is all about balance. It represents love, compassion. So I feel like you may be like hiding the hurts that you have. You may be pretending that there's nothing here. I feel like I think this is a male on this card. So it could be that you're used to being a certain way, or presenting yourself as like strong and tough and nothing gets to me, nothing bothers me. This can get really sweaty after a while. Um, I feel like this represents there's a lot of things on your mind too. There's a lot on your mind, and it's like this clutter. And it may be bothering you to the point where it's like you can't do it anymore. Yeah, blinded to the pain. Blinded to the pain. So you may have stuffed some things down. So what do you need to heal and release? I feel like first you need to free your mind. Figure out what, because you may have like a lot of different things, a lot of different questions that you're asking within yourself. You may be thinking about all these different things that bothered you, that hurt you, or you could be distracting yourself mentally from the hurt and the pain. So it's like you need to clear your mind. That's the first thing. Thank you. The Two of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is being confronting yourself, like whether it's good or bad. Whether it's good or bad, you have to confront every aspect of yourself, because you see these two skulls, when they come together, they create a butterfly. I don't know if you can see it, but they create a butterfly. So there's change and transformation when you confront both sides of yourself. Like you can actively say, you know, I'm not proud of this aspect of myself, or you know, whatever I've gone through, or whatever it is about me that I like or dislike, whatever it is that comes to you, it's having compassion and really being able to look at both sides. Hold on. Then you have the Death card with Santa Muerte. So she's about to give birth. She's waiting for the arrival of her baby. She's pregnant, and then there's a cradle. So I feel like this is a good time for you. This is a good time for you because you're about to come into a new phase, and I feel like Page of Wands. Yeah, you're about to give birth to a new energy, a new cycle, and it could be like you start to feel more empowered. Um, he's giving me like a priest, like a high priest or magician vibes from him, almost like Papa Legba energy too. So I get like this is gonna give you like you might need to do some inner child healing. You might need to do some inner child work. So going back to your childhood, because that's where a lot of our issues stem from, because that's what got us into certain situations in the first place, really. Like, if you think about it, like, say, for instance, the typical thing is, bad relationships for some people, getting into relationships with people that remind us of our parents, or the things that we lacked from our parents, we seek in other people, and we get the opposite sometimes, or we don't want to be abandoned, so our lovers teach us how to handle abandonment issues. So we always have to go back to our childhood, and I feel like that's what this represents. Anything else? The Emperor's card. Yeah, you have to love yourself at this time, even when that shit's hard to do. Like, it's not easy. The act of self love comes in many different forms. It's not just saying, I'm gonna put on some makeup and get me some new clothes and I'm gonna feel better. Like, anybody knows that that's like retail therapy or whatever. That's temporary shit. Loving yourself is telling people no, when you really don't feel like it. It's honoring your truth when other people don't want to hear that shit, and still standing in your truth and your power. Creating something that you're afraid to create and share with people. Um, Going back into your past and saying, yeah, I probably was a shitty person, or I did this to that person and I really regret it and I hate that I did that to this person. But I had to forgive myself because that's what, that's how I reacted at the time, because that, due to my ignorance, that's, my upbringing or whatever, that's how I reacted. That's all I knew at the time. So I only acted from that space of where I was energetically. So it's having compassion for yourself. It's also physically too. Like, of course, you want to physically take care of yourself, do things that make you feel better, but make sure that you work on the inside too first, because putting on some new clothes, some designer clothes, like, anybody will tell you, if you're not happy within yourself, that shit's temporary. Like, so what? Like, you got your nails done. Like, you might feel good because you took care of yourself, but did it make the other shit go away? No. So, yeah, and you need to go spend some time with yourself. And if you have been in this hermit mode, it's for your highest good, but utilize it to reflect, to meditate, to understand yourself more. It might feel like you're tormented. There's like centipedes and insects and stuff in there with him. And so it might be like you feel very triggered or very annoyed by your circumstances, but there's wisdom in this period in your life. And I can identify. I know I might not be in the same exact space with you, but I can identify with where you're going. Okay. Laura, what do you need to release? What do you need to release, Laura? I might need to change the. Hold on. I might need to change the title of this, because it's not really based off of that. You're welcome. We did that. Been there, done that. Okay. So what is it that Laura needs to release tonight, Spirit? What is it that Laura needs to release? What is it that will be of her highest good to release at this time? Just like the first person, blinded to the pain. So it's number 13. That's number 4. So this is something with imbalance. Like, you might not be acknowledging yourself as much as you should. Um, it could also be imbalance. Say that you're blind to your own pain, but you acknowledge the pain of others. You have a better understanding of other people, or you're more considerate of other people's feelings rather than your own. Or it could be the opposite, where you're only concerned about what you feel, and you're kind of like, you're not able to empathize or sympathize with others. But I feel like it was the first thing that I just picked up. Clarify. What does Laura need to release? The 8 of Cups. Yeah, some sort of hurt that you experienced, some sort of hurt that you have not released yet. She has all of these cups. It's like a crown of cups on her head. So I feel like this can represent like mentally and emotionally. You're still holding on to the thoughts of the pain of what was caused. So you may have, maybe you physically walked away. Um, you physically walked away, or you mentally, but you're still holding on to something. Like you haven't fully let it go. So, say for instance, it's a breakup or something, like a breakup that you went through. You haven't fully disconnected from it. You're still carrying it with you. And I feel like that's emotionally and mentally. And you have the Three of Wands. And there's this dead bird that's carrying a book and it says virtue on it. I can't really see the rest of it, but it says virtue. He's carrying a book. So, first thing to remind yourself is that, and the Three of Wands to me is like my Moses card, like a journey card, like a spiritual journey. Um, these things that you're blinding yourself to are the things that are helping you move forward in your path. There is lessons to be learned in that, and I feel like it could be as well that you're meant to share these things. Like you didn't just go through it for yourself. Clarify. The Five of Cups. Yeah, release it emotionally. Heal. Emotionally heal. We're only asking questions about our shadows, things that we need to heal, things we need to release. That's the type of questions we're on right at this time. No love questions per se. I'm doing some work, some shadow work with people. Five of Cups, yeah, because I keep looking at this like he's like this skull is the top of his skull is gone. So this is like the memories of something. It's not telling. No, you're okay, Miss J. It's not saying that you should like just throw things to shit that you had feelings or people you have feelings for that your feelings aren't valid. It's saying that the things that it's like you're attaching something that has already passed on and has already let go, and it's keeping you in this blinded state of feeling like you're not able to move forward and you can't move on from this. Because you got the Three of Wands, like I said, this is a spiritual journey card and it leads to the Four of Wands. It leads to the Four of Wands, and this is potentially the people that you're meant to come across and meet. This could be your soul tribe. This could also be better connections with others, not just romantically. Because I get like you hang on to things very tightly when you're emotionally into situations with others. You get really attached, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just have a big heart, I feel, but you've been so blind to it that you don't see it. Like you don't know how it's affecting you, and it's almost like you've gotten so used to, um, you've gotten so used to the pain of losing people, the pain of people disappointing you, that you've kept and held on to that. Don't look at this as a curse. It's not a curse. Having a big heart is not a curse either. So this is the Six of Cups that flew out of the deck. So this has everything to do with the past. And if you look at these cups, they're kind of like they're empty and they're not being used. They're kind of just scattered all over the place. So this is like people and things that may no longer even be in your life or have no power over your circumstances, but you give it power emotionally and mentally. And I know this all too well. Like, I know this energy all too well. First off, you need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive whoever else has hurt you. See your feelings and your hurt and pain as valid, first and foremost, and have compassion. But also see the bigger purpose in it. What did you learn from it? What did it teach you? And in what way can that help somebody else? Like that's how you have to look at it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Julia, are you asking a question like come after you like in a dark way, like in a negative sense? Julia, this Aries woman, are you asking like on a attack something? Because that's what that sounds like. And then Miss J, I'll get to your question. Not hair pieces. Oh shit. I don't have time. Oh shit. You're welcome, Laura. I hope that helped y'all. Cause like all right, blessings. Ashe. Thank you. All right. Something's wrong. I'm weak. That's funny. All right. I don't know if Julia's still on here. I'm gonna go to Miss J. She says, "What does she need to heal? What does she need to release and heal from at this time? What does she need to heal and release from, Divine Spirit, at this time? What is the biggest thing that she needs to heal and release from at this time?" Calling the storm. There's another card sticking up. You got peaceful among the thorns. Forgetting oneself. There's three different things that I'm picking up. The first thing that I got with calling in the storm, which is number 30, technically that's just a 3. So you could be creating situations and circumstances that are unfavorable. So it's kind of like we create our own bullshit sometimes, right? Based off of maybe what we think, what we say, just getting involved with certain dramas, attaching ourselves to other people's karma and drama that it kind of spills into our own lives. I feel like that has something to do with it a little bit. Like it's this I know this energy because I do it sometimes. Like sometimes we could cause our own drama. Like me, there's certain situations that I don't always have to fight. Like there's a card in, I think it's the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, or is it the Psychic Tarot? One of them, where it says choose your battles wisely, I think is the card. And it's like you have to choose your battles wisely. Is everything worth you like fighting and standing up for it, or some shit we should just let spirit handle? So me, like if I feel like people are coming at me and trying to attack me, I always have something to say back all the time. And sometimes it's the way that I channel the energy that can cause much more chaos and drama than what needs. So I feel like this is something that you might need to heal. Not might. Feel like this is what needs to be healed, if that makes sense to you. And then you have peaceful among the thorns, number 26, which is number 8 plus 6, 8. So it could also be too that you want to be blind to some of this chaos, or maybe you just don't see in what way that it's being created from yourself sometimes, or it could also be too that yeah, it's kind of like there's parts of you that doesn't always that's not always self-aware of certain things that you create, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to beat you up or beat you down. This is to help you. But sometimes I feel like you don't see in what way you might play a role in your own self-sabotage. This is self-sabotage. Basically what this energy is, this is self-sabotage energy. Forgetting oneself could be also where you do deny certain things within yourself that need to be healed at the cost of others, or you might distract yourself with other people's dramas or other people's pain so that you're not reflecting on your own. And sometimes you might it could be sometimes that not everything is up to spirit to handle too. Sometimes you got to take the initiative to do what it is that we need to do or heal whatever that we need to heal. Not saying that we don't have spiritual help, but it's like, oh, I have issues. God understands, or the universe understands, or like some things you have to take up with yourself, if that makes sense. You have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, so the Seven of Swords is that you could have a pessimistic attitude sometimes about things. Um, and you also have the Seven of Pentacles too. So you have two sevens. I feel like you have awareness of whatever it is that needs to be released in your life, for one. Um, you might even be looking at it like it looks like he's. I don't know if you've ever seen those algebra things. It's like a little mathematical thing, and you slide the. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but anyway, it looks like you're counting up against certain things that you know that you need to let go of, and this could also be people. Like you already know what it is. The Queen of Cups, you're ready to heal. I feel like you want to heal because her heart is open. She's giving her heart, and that could be another thing that you also need to heal as well. Is be very mindful of who you're giving your energy away to, and you have the Eight of Pentacles. So these are things that you're already working on. I don't see it as like you're just not doing anything, because I feel like certain things you try to give it to the universe or give it to God, but Spirit is saying like you need to work on it though. You have to put the initiative in as well. You can't just give it all away. Certain things we have to take the active approach and show Spirit that we're dedicated to bettering ourselves and healing ourselves. So I do feel like in some way that you are doing this. Um, and I feel like the Queen of Cups represents healing, but she also represents needing to have compassion for yourself as well. There needs to be some compassion during this time. That goes with any shadow work, because when you go in your shadows, you're gonna see some shit you don't want to see, and you're gonna judge yourself. You're gonna blame yourself for everything or think that you're a bad person, but you have to have compassion through all of that energy to make the process, not make the process easier, but that's part of the healing. So I hope that resonated. I hope that helped. Yeah. I hope that helps you. I don't know if that made any sense. I'm trying to speak over the loudness, for one. You're welcome. Y'all don't know how hard it is, like, trying to, like, do your spiritual work in a house full of chaos sometimes. Like, people, they just don't give a fuck sometimes. Like, it's a lot. It's too much sometimes. It is what it is. All right. Anybody have any more questions? Any shadow work questions? Maybe even any spooky questions. Is there a ghost in my house? I lived with a ghost for a while with some little kids, though. And I have my brother, he's also an empath, so he confirmed that I wasn't fucking tripping because he said it himself. He said he was smoking weed in the backyard and he heard like kids' spirits playing in the background. Because I was in my room and I was like, there's a little kid in here. I don't know. It wasn't creepy. It wasn't like negative energy, like they were like trying to torment us or anything. They was just chilling. That was their house before we got there, their land or whatever. So it wasn't anything sinister or evil, but it was nice to know that I wasn't tripping because my brother confirmed it for me. But whatever. If you guys have any questions before I get off, because I just hopped on here spontaneously because I wanted to do the celebrity car accident thing first. Oh, your ex did black magic on you and is spiritually monitoring and harassing you. Will he stop and leave you alone? Mm-mm-mm. You're giving him too much power over you. You're giving him too much power over you. The only reason he's able to have that access to you because you're like, you're not protecting yourself enough. Like, it's one thing to know that yes, we're divinely protected, but we also have to take an active approach to protect ourselves too. Like, we have to have our armor on, like, spiritually, because we can walk into any circumstance. Like, imagine this: you're in a battle, right? You're in a battlefield, and you might have like your army behind you, but if you don't have your shit, like you ain't prepared, you ain't got your sword ready or whatever, you got your sword, your armor on, then you're fucked. Like, yeah, I got an army behind me, like they're ready to fight, but if I don't have my shit on, like what good is it? That's kind of how you have to see it. But I'll pull on it. Let's see. Whoa, hold on. These cards. The Nine of Swords and the Four of Wands. Again, like you're giving him access to your home, like energetic home, like energetically. Because I'm seeing the Nine of Swords as this tormented energy. And that could be a part of the illusion that they're putting on you is for you not to feel safe and so that you can welcome them in or break down your walls to let them into your happy home. Like this person wants to torment you because they don't want you to be happy. That's number one. This person stop, or how can she make them? Like, what can she do to stop it? If I haven't already answered the question, what should she do? It's not will he stop. What can I do to make it stop? The Eight of Swords. You gotta fight. You gotta get out of your fucking head. You have to get out of your head. This, I had like, it's not as bad as this, but because I'm kind of like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm a soft person sometimes, but at the same time, I'm really not. Like, especially if I feel like somebody is tormenting me and trying to, like, fuck with me, I have a I have a little bit of a dark side, but let's just say this. So I had this person that was constantly harassing me, like this person fucking harassed me to the point even when they were coming in my dreams, and there were times where I had to fight this person, like they came to me in my dreams as like a demon. So I had to fight this person in my dreams or in the spirit realm because really that's what it is. This person is invading your space because you're allowing it to, and until you fight this person on an energetic level, let them know that they can't fuck with you because they got your mind locked down, and that's only because you're in an illusion that they have the power to do that. They really don't unless you give them that key to do it. The Temperance card. So the Temperance card, she's working with alchemy. So this might be you doing some shit on your own. I don't know if you're into magic or spell work or whatever, but this is you doing your own shit. And it could also be working with an ancestor or spirit guide because the Temperance is an angelic energy. There's water here. I feel like this is like you can work with your ancestors with this. So I'm just saying, like, for one, you have to know, but that okay. If this doesn't resonate with you, then don't try it. Only do what you feel guided to do. But just say, for instance, like you meditate. If you're not a dreamer, you don't have lucid dreams and things like that, like you don't have an active dream life, meditate and reflect on this person's energy and imagine you facing that person. I've had to do this a few times. Like, this person doesn't fuck with me no more. I'm sure they probably still stalking me and watching me and shit, but they don't have any power over me anymore like that. To the point of fear, like I was fearing and shit. Um, Face that person, like visualize you facing that person and go into that person's energy and letting them know that they can't fuck with you. Like, you have to know that within yourself. Otherwise, they're gonna continue to torment you. It's really just illusion. It's like the magician cards at the bottom, by the way. This is like illusionary shit. Like, they're fucking with you because they know it's kind of like you're ignorant to what your power is, so they have the ability to play with you, basically. I don't know if that made sense. I'm not getting anything heavy like, oh girl, you gotta get a wash, or you need to do this. You need, like, this person is using, like, what do you call that magic? It's like glamour. Is it glamour magic? No, I don't know what you would call it, but it's like creating illusions that are not there. I mean, that's what magic is to some degree. Um, but they know that they can play on you because of your ignorance, of not seeing that what they're doing is, it's like, it's pixie dust, as I call it. Whatever they're doing is pixie dust. Like, I don't see nothing too heavy or like it's too much. I'm not getting that. This person's weaker than you. To be honest, let's see this nigga's energy. What's this nigga's energy? The Knight of Wands. Yeah, it's kind of like a kid that wants to, like a person, like a bully. Like, they're more hurt than you. You've ever heard that saying that if you really get to know a bully, they bully other people because they have issues within themselves. Like, they may have like a terrible household, or they're being abused at home by their parents. So they go home and they go to school and they take it out on kids that come across as weaker, or the nerds, or the smaller frame kids, and the bullies are the big, big dudes, or the big girls or whatever, and they use that on them. Yeah, a doll. I mean, yeah, dolls. You could put energies and spirit in dolls, and you can manipulate people with dolls. But if he's a weak vessel himself, like, his shit doesn't hold weight unless you believe it and you really fall for it. Like, girl, he's just mad when you ain't giving him none no more, so he's like pissed off or something. Like, whatever. That shit. Anywho, anybody have another question before I dip out? Now he has a dog. I get him a doll too. Like, oh, you got a doll of me, I'll get a doll of you, and like, let's play. Like, I'm gonna kick your doll down the stairs. I'm just um, mm-mm. That's one thing. There's this woman on YouTube. I don't take everything that she says literally because she's like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, she had said something like, people would ask, they would come in her store at the stairs. They would come in her store and they'd be like, how do I like break this curse or this money curse off of me, blah blah blah. And then she was like, what candle should I use? And she was like, was it a candle that was used to put the curse down, or was it something else? And it's like, you have to do to reverse something. This is what she said, and it makes sense. And that's kind of what I got with the temperance card. It's this alchemy, like this energy. So, say for instance, somebody did a love spell on you to curse you from finding a man or having a happy relationship, and they used a petition. They used a petition and they burnt it or buried it or whatever. For you to reverse that, you wouldn't necessarily get a candle, I would say. You would probably you would get a petition and you would write and bind it, or to break that thing, burn it, and you would do the same thing. That's if you knew about it. So I always say go with what you're led to do, but if you know what a person has done against you, reverse that shit on them. Do the same thing, but in a reverse way. It only makes sense. But of course, you always have to do what you're guided to do. I don't believe that you have to go by the book with everything. If you guys are not into that prayer, visualization, working with your angels or your ancestors, Archangel Michael don't play no games. He doesn't. He really doesn't. And he comes through for a lot of people. He's come through for me. He's come through for a lot of other people. I've worked with Santa Muerte before, numerous of times. Like that's one of my mamas. So I've worked with her multiple times too, and she don't play no games either. So it's just all in what you're guided to do. Not everybody's into this stuff. I am, so there's no shame. But can't be scared. Like you can't be scared. Like I mean, we live in a spiritual world. If you're blind to certain things, like not everybody has your best interest, and sometimes it sucks to find out that people are really that grimy, especially people that are close to you. And people don't even have to do actual spell work like what you think, like candles and other shit and dolls and all this other shit. Like sometimes just them thinking negative shit towards you or them saying negative things towards you blocks you. And your dreams will tell you. Like my dreams reveal shit to me all the time. Like spirit shows me people's true form in my dreams all the time. And it sucks. It sucks sometimes, but it's a blessing too at the same time because it makes you aware of shit that you're not aware of in the waking life. So, yeah, it's a spiritual warfare, as they say. Not everything is light and fluffy, but not everything is bad either. You just have to know your power. What if your dreams have been cut off? You can, there's been times where I don't always have a vivid dream life myself, but I get premonitions. Like that was the first gift that I was aware of as a child was I had the gift of premonition. So I've always had vivid dreams, but there's times where I don't always have dreams. You can ask if you have a rapport with the spirit guide or ancestors or whatever, ask to recall your dreams. Or you could set an intention before you go to bed. I sleep with an amethyst under my bed sometimes and other crystals sometimes. That helps. There's other ways you could do it. But you can say a prayer to your ancestors, your angels to help you. Archangel Gabriel is the messenger of God, so maybe call on Archangel Gabriel to help you. You're welcome. Am I taking questions, light mission? Shadow questions and healing questions is what I've been doing out here. Like, for example, how can I remove the spirit of fear? Or what is it in me that's blocking me? Or, those type of questions. Y'all welcome. Yeah. I mean, I don't speak on nothing I don't know about or haven't experienced or someone close to me has not experienced. Because it's just like loose change, just sharing shit that doesn't, you know what I mean? But I'm not that knowledgeable. Like, I'm not some guru or nothing, but I mean, I know enough to share things. I'm sure I have much more to learn and experience. So I'm not just like, I'm just up here like that. I don't know. What is it in you that is blocking you from getting a job? Let's see. Well, let's pull a shadow card. I love these cards, by the way. I was a little hesitant to get them because I'm like, am I going to be triggered by these cards? Alright. Divine Spirit. For race B, what is preventing them from getting a job? What is it that's blocking them or preventing them? What is the shadow energy? Sacrifice. And this is number 7. So number 7 represents divinity, represents God. It can also represent the crown chakra. Can also represent awareness or caution or warning too. So I feel like it's something that you're aware of. Let's see. Are you willing to let something go? It's like, are you willing? It's something that you gotta, okay. Now I get it, but I'm gonna pull tarot. So let's say, for instance, you got the 5 of Pentacles. Say for instance, you're asking for say you're asking, I love food. So say you're going in the kitchen as a little kid, you know, back in the day how they used to say like, um, you gotta ask for your plate of food. You can't help yourself. You gotta wait and ask the adult to fix your plate. So you go in the kitchen and you haven't finished with what was already on your plate, but you want seconds, and you're asking mom, mama, grandma, big mama, whatever, can I have more? And they looking at you like, girl, you haven't even finished your plate yet. Like you still got food on your plate. So it's like you're asking for something, but there's something that you have not released. You haven't finished. You haven't ate up yet. So it's something that you have to sacrifice. And I feel like Spirit is saying you know what it is. A lot of cards came out. So the Five of Pentacles was one of them. There's a sacrifice with something. You see, there's like all these skulls, but there's green ones. This could be something in the matters of the heart. You got the Ace of Cups. Your heart has to be open to receive whatever you're asking for. And I feel like it's also telling you to be open into ways that your job can come or what type of job it is. Maybe you have something specific in mind, but it's still asking you to be open to that. The Wheel of Fortune is saying that you have to change your perception. I'm here, you have to change your perception of timing, but also at the same time as well, in order for this shift to happen, there needs to be a shift within the self. There's a sacrifice that needs to be made. Six of Pentacles, something about time. What are you giving your time and energy to? The Knight of Wands. See, the Knight of Wands is ready to start in the beginning. You may be ready to take off in a path when there's some things that you still have yet to heal or release. It's something, I feel like you know what it is. And you see his skull is open. He needs to drain. It's like a drain. Like he needs to drain something out. Or something emotionally is draining you. But whatever it is, it needs to be released. And it could be mentally. It could be thoughts. Because the Ten of Cups is that ultimate fulfillment. That emotional fulfillment. And this is a butterfly, right? This is transformation. So it could also be changing the way that how you feel about situations, but you got to let something go because something is clogging your energy. I don't know only you would know specifically, but something's clogging your energy. Then you have the Nine of Wands. I wouldn't say that you're blocking yourself, but in some ways, like you have to let an energy go. If it's your health, you said your health. Is it health, divine spirit? Don't use that as a crutch, but I don't feel like it is health. This is an energy thing. I don't feel like this has anything to do with health. There's something that needs to be cut away. Because you see these plants are dead and she's about to cut them. So I feel like you know what it is. And it doesn't have to be one specific thing. It could be multiple things, but I feel like you know what it is. You have two fives. You have the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. This is something about changes. It could also be feeling as though you're not deserving. Feeling it could be coming from a impoverished mindset. Coming from this pessimistic place of like, why me? Or feeling feeling left out, or feeling like you just don't belong, or why everybody else but me, only a select few deserves it. Because you see how there's all these white skulls but there's only green ones, so it's like you might be perceiving only certain people like luck. Could be this perception of luck and blessings, and you feel like you're not one of the lucky ones or something. It's a perception that you have possibly as well, and it may stem from something emotionally that's happened to you, but this needs to be released. And it's something about timing too, like certain things happen in divine timing, or we could slow up that timing, so that plays a role in it. Is this making sense? The Five of Swords, you almost got all the fives except for the Five of Wands. Now you have the Five of Swords. So it's something in the mind It's a mind trick. It's deception of your mind. This defeatist attitude. Hey, what's wrong, Novi? Okay. I hope that helped you. I don't know if that made sense. I'm gonna do Queen Lioness, and that will be the last person, and I'm gonna hop off. What or who is in your life blocking you? Who or what in your life is blocking you? Are you asking that like in a, like a, what do you call it? A sinister sense, Julia? Let's see. What or who? What or who? The child I was meant to be. Oh. Okay. This is the inner child right here. The child I was meant to be. So this may be that you're hard on yourself. You measure, like you might have had so say for instance, like I should have been married by 30. I should have had a house of my own by 30. Hold on, Novi. I mean, Light, if you're still on, you can ask your question and I'm gonna hop off. So, Light, Julia, come on, baby. Come on. All right. Hi, baby. Say hi. All right, come sit down. Let's see. So, say, like, your house, I should have had this, or I have this, but I don't have everything. So, you might have had expectations of yourself at a young age that you should have been somewhere, or you had family or friends that make you feel a certain way, or that you should have had this, or you should have done this. Well, your sister has done this, or your brother, or your cousin. Like, it's some sort of pressure that's being put on you, or that you put on yourself. You have the Three of Pentacles, and this card came out in reverse. So, greetings, goddess. I feel like this represents you're not seeing the works of your like you have been putting in a lot of work, or you worked on yourself. Like you've done, it's not that you haven't done anything, but I feel like you're measuring the, it's like you're measuring the timing of your blossoming, or you're discounting the blossoming of your flowers. Like you might say, my flower's not full enough, or it's not tall enough, or it's something about how you're, could be a father figure, the King of Pentacles. Maybe your father was very strict, or you wanted to please this person, or you want to be like your father, or someone that raised you. You also have another king here too. You got the King of Cups, King of Pentacles, King of Cups. So this could also be, if not father figures, then active male figures in your life, whether this was your first love, your first crush, your first boyfriend, whatever, your first, you feel like in some way like you just didn't live up to those things. You didn't feel like you lived up to these people either, like to what they may have wanted you to be. Three of Swords. There's a lot of hurt and sorrow with this. It's an energy that you're carrying. It's an energy that you're carrying. The Two of Wands. So what are you going to do with these guns? Are you going to shoot yourself in the head? Not literally. Don't take that literal. Are you going to shoot your own self down, or are you going to use these guns to fight? So it's like, are you going to oppress yourself with the guns, or are you going to use them? So it's also like, are you ready to combat this foolishness that you believed, or that you told yourself, or what other people may have imposed on you? And like you said, your mother was very masculine, so maybe seeing her and how she handled things, you may have said to yourself, I don't want to be alone, or I can't be someone that wants love or wants a mate, because that makes me look like a pussy. I can kind of identify with this. I have a lot of women in my family, whether they're in relationships or not, they have this, oh, I don't need no man type of attitude. And not in a sense like I'm content and I'm not codependent on a man, but it's more like fuck him. Like, and almost like in this combative, like, I don't know how to explain it. So in my eyes, like sometimes I battle with myself. I don't know if this is you, but I feel guided to share this. It's another intimate shit. I don't like sharing my business, but if I do, it's for a reason. But it's something within me that used to say, well, is it weak for me wanting to have a mate and wanting to not play housewife or nothing like that, because I still have my own ambitions, but playing that role where the man is the leader and it's not like a war between us, like, no, I'm this, and no, you can't tell me what to do, like that type of, you know what I mean? That's the type of stuff. It could be that you're battling too. Nova, you have the Ace of Swords. So, what is your truth? You have to cut all these weeds out of the way because these weeds are stripping you of your truth. You have to create your own belief system because a lot of times we think certain things that are our beliefs are really just stemming from our childhood programming, the identities of who we were. And Trap Witch, I don't know if you guys follow the Trap Witch on social media. I watched some of her IGTV videos lately, and there was one that I was watching, and she was talking about our types, like having a type in a man or a woman. That basically sometimes we think what our type is based off of trauma, and I've said this before too. That a lot of times that the type of men that I was attracted to was based off of the person I was back then, and that was a lot of trauma. That was a lot of lack of self awareness of who I was at that time. So she was basically saying that when you are a child, based off of your surroundings. So I grew up around a lot of Caucasian kids. So at one point in my life, I only had crushes on white boys. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but due to my environment, due to the school I was in, the neighborhood I was in, that's what I was drawn to. If you look at the era that we're in, all of the people, all of the men and women, they dress alike. They all have the same body type. So when kids get older, they're gonna think that's what I want in a woman or that's what I want in a man because that's what we've been programmed to think. And I'm out of breath because I just got up again to get my dog out the room. But that's what we've been programmed to believe that we want, right? So a lot of certain things that you've taken on as a child due to your environment, due to upbringing, to what you've seen your parents go through or whatever the case was, or the traumas you went through, that was not truly who you were. So you have to cut through all that shit with your sword, your truth. Six of Cups, or is this the nine? I think this is the Nine of Cups. And finding that place within yourself where you're truly, authentically, and honestly, emotionally happy and joyous and content with yourself. Like, honestly, without needing validation from mom or this person or a mate or your job, even, because sometimes your job, you seek fulfillment in that, like, this validates me, when it doesn't really validate you at the end of the day, or what kind of house you have, what kind of car you drive. Like, these things don't make the person. So it's like you have to be authentically, and it's not easy. Like, I haven't even mastered this. Like, if you stripped away Walu child readings, would I really be still content and happy, or would I feel like, who the fuck am I, or what is my purpose, what am I supposed to do? Or if you took away certain people out of my life, like, would I really be completely content, or would I feel a little bit lonely? And that's only human nature. And you have the Three of Cups. So it's not an issue to say that you want love or you want to relate to people and others around you. It's these healthy connections, and I feel like the more and more they're going to be highlighted, whether these are people that are already in your life that you're going to appreciate much more, and or more people coming into your life that resonates with this person right here, this Nine of Cups person. Then you have the Six of Wands. It's a victory. Like, you have to celebrate yourself even through all the bullshit, because it's not easy to go through life and heal your traumas, especially when you're doing that shit on your own and you're trying to make sense of who you are. Like, that takes a lot of courage, that takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of it. So that's what I'm getting. I don't know if that made sense, if I translated exactly what it was or who it was that was blocking you, but yeah, I hope that helped you. Yeah, it's worth the journey. Like, it helps you to learn about who you really are, like, more and more, and we discover deeper layers of ourselves the more and more we go on our journey. Like, we might think we know ourselves to the fullest, but the more and more you shed your skin, the more experiences you go through, the more triumphs, the ups and downs, whatever, you learn more about yourself. And sometimes you do need those moments of adversity or backstabs or so-called losses and failures to understand yourself, if that makes sense. Whew. You're welcome. Okay. I'm going to scroll back to Julia. I think you said something. Okay. And then light mission, you can submit your question. Where is it at? It was, will this Aries woman, will the Aries woman, I'm confused. Are they going to come after you? I don't get the question. But yeah, light mission, if you had a question, submit it. What's blocking your sister from getting a job? Let's see. I'm still out of breath. All right. What's blocking your sister? What's blocking your sister from finding a job? What's blocking her? I just saw the yellow brick road. Okay, so you have number 28, which is number 10, technically. It says pre-chance to dream. She's stagnated her own dreams, her own desire, like something within her. It could be an energy, because it's like, this is like sleep paralysis. But to me, it's like that dark side of herself that has convinced her not to believe in herself. Let's see. What's blocking her from getting a job? Finding or getting? What's blocking her in this path? The 5 of Pentacles and the 6 of Pentacles flew out of the deck. Impoverished mindset. There's not enough to go around, or I'm not, like, kind of what I picked up for someone else. I can't remember who it was. I think it was race B. Like, I'm not as special as the other people, or it's a chance of luck. You gotta be this, you gotta have that, or I don't have enough credentials. I mean, just limiting things. Like, I'm not one of the good ones. I'm not one of the chosen ones to receive something. It's that type of thinking, because you got the 5 going into the 6. So the 5 represents being left out in the cold, the poverty, and the 6 of Pentacles is the charity card of giving back, receiving, giving and receiving card. So I get that this has something to do with time as well. Her time is going to come to find her job when it's the right time, but also she has to get out of this type of thinking that these green skulls represent the lucky ones and all the white skulls are the ones that aren't as lucky. Like, there's only a slim chance that we can all eat or get a job or get this one job or be successful, and she's choking the life out of her dreams by doing this. And this needs to end. Number 28 technically is 10. Because when I was shuffling her cards, I seen a vision of the yellow brick road, and it was a bright, like, the the setting was like sunny. Like it wasn't a dark setting. So I was like, there's really nothing blocking her because the path is clear. But it's all about timing. And when you think of the story of the Wizard of Oz, this was one of my favorite movies as a little girl for a reason probably. But um, when you think about the story, nothing kept her from getting home. Like she had the key the whole time, but she needed to go through that journey first in order to even figure out that she was the key to get herself back home. It wasn't anything outside of her, basically. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. It's about timing and it's about changing her mindset and stop stagnating her desires, whether she perceives them big or small. And that's not always easy to do. But she could also be too caught up in the illusion that there's something outside of her that's going to grant her desires, and it's really within herself, if that makes sense. What does Spirit have to say about your business venture? Did Julia ever ask her question? Because I'm about to hop off. Okay, for Goddess. The Eight of Wands. This is a card of movement, as you know, I'm sure. Let's see. The Sun card. I feel like whatever it is it's already moving in a positive direction. It's also there's a breakthrough with it too. Something with a breakthrough. I don't know if this has anything to do with music or communication. You got the Knight of Swords. I feel like if you have not taken action towards it, Spirit's telling you to, because I feel like the time is now with it. You have a lot of movement. Even though this is not a traditional sun card where the little child is on the horse, I still feel like this represents movement. But the sun card, in this sense, to me, I'm getting breakthroughs. Breakthroughs. Then you have the Knight of Swords, which represents movement. And there's the same flowers in the sun card and in the Knight of Swords. Sunflowers. So something's blossoming. There's this yellow energy, something with the solar plexus. You need to have confidence. The Two of Pentacles. So looking at the pros and the cons is also going to help bring about changes that need to be. Okay, so how do I say it? It's like looking at the pros and the cons of your business or your business idea is going to also branch new ideas, or it's going to bring about some sort of positive birth to the situation. Because I also see butterflies are not just transformation. I feel like they represent rebirth too. There's a hummingbird. I don't remember what hummingbirds mean. You can look it up on your own and see what you get from it, like the spiritual meaning of a hummingbird. But there's a hummingbird in the sun card. I feel like Spirit's telling you to move towards, like, take action towards it. And it could be something with communication that you need to take action with, because Eight of Wands to me is fast communication, and the Knight of Swords is also communication too. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. I hope that makes sense and that helps you. Because I feel like this is something that you need to take action with. Like, the time is right for it. And I know, like, people say you shouldn't initiate things on a Mercury retrograde, but there's certain things that you should. Especially if you've been procrastinating, like, prior to a Mercury retrograde. That's something that you need to act on now. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. Y'all, I told you I was about to hop off. Okay, this is the last one, y'all. Like, I promise y'all, like, no more questions. Like, I love helping y'all and everything, but I need to get off. I'm a little winded. So I'm gonna answer Miss J's question, and that will be all for the night. So Miss J asks, what is blocking your husband from stepping forward into his destiny? What is blocking him? I have my animal book on me. I don't. But I don't know. I can't remember. I think hummingbirds are in it. But yeah, just you can find like your own. You can Google search it and see what you find because I'm sure there's like different references, but you got to find what resonates with you. Okay, Miss J's husband. What's blocking him from stepping forward into his destiny? This card also came out again. Number 8, the child I was meant to be. His childhood, inner child issues. And a lot of men have this. I mean, a lot of us do, period. Men or women. I will. Thank you, Miss Light Mission. Alright. Clarify this. The Strength card and the Three of Pentacles. This false sense of being and doing it all. It's like kind of like I guess what you call distorted masculinity, where men are not strong unless they're constantly working, unless they're constantly doing manly things, that they're not strong. They're weak if they take time for themselves, or they're weak if they cry, or they're weak for having feelings or expressing their feelings or whatever. So I get that they have an issue with this and it stems from their childhood. They may have been, because you see how it's this wrestler wrestling this dragon. They could have had parental, some sort of parental guidance or whatever. A parent that could have been very rough with them, that stop acting like a sissy. Like, how many times have you heard that? I don't know how common that is in other homes, like black homes. It's kind of a thing where the boys are like taught very young to not cry and don't sit like that or don't talk like that. You're being a sissy. Like, it's a thing. So I don't know, but I'm getting that type of energy from it, that they could have had someone around them that made them feel this way, or that they weren't getting into fights, that they weren't tough, or they weren't a real man, or the type of toys that they played with too. I don't know. I'm getting all different types of stuff. This is inner child issues. Thank you. You're welcome. Take care, guys. Let's see. It's a father figure, King of Pentacles. It can also be something about providing. This is a distorted masculinity type of thing that started at a very young age. And I think it's very common, the Ace of Swords. So this is kind of, it sounds a little bit like Queen Lioness is reading a little bit, but it's different though. So I feel like he also has to figure out his true identity outside of what he was taught, because he's carrying a lot of, you see this box right here, it's like he's carrying the treasure, like what he might perceive as wisdom and jewels from his childhood, which are really, it's like programming, and it's not truly who he is, though there may be some jewels in there for him to learn from. Even the bullshit was something that he can learn from, but it's not totally his truth. And I feel like he has to cut the weeds of his own truth, like cut all this extra shit out, because it's blinding and it's blocking the truth from coming through. So I feel like he needs to do this on his own. This is something that he's gonna have to have the courage and the strength to do, because he has a false sense of what strength is as well. And what that means. I'm not just speaking of, yeah, Four of Cups. He's not very proud of himself, because he's living out of, he's walking in this energy of who he thought he was supposed to be, or what his father was, or what his father was not, or what his mother wanted him to be, or what his grandma wanted him to be, his grandpa, whoever, his brothers, whatever, what he thought he should have been. And he's disappointed with himself because he's living for others. In essence, he's not living his true authentic self. It's like, I should have been a doctor. Why? Who told you should have been a doctor? Is that something you really wanted to do? Or is that because your parents said, because your father was a doctor, you got to be a doctor too? Or because you are tall, you should play basketball, and that's not something you really wanted to do? Like, my brother, for instance, he's very athletic. Like, he's perfect for all sports. Like, he's not really that tall. He's like an average height male, but he was perfect for sports. Like, he had the stamina for it, and he liked playing sports at a young age, but it wasn't a passion. That's not what he wanted to do. And we would always coach him to be like, oh, you need to get into this and get into that. He got into football. He was good at it, but he didn't have the passion for it. He didn't stick with it because that wasn't his path. And so many times we think that's what we should do because, yeah, it might be cool. Like my mom, she was good at doing hair, and her mom talked her into going to hair school. She didn't like doing hair. She doesn't even like doing my hair. So it's, you have to find what you want for you. Nobody can tell you, and that's what he needs to learn. Like, what got in the way of his own purpose and his destiny is he feel like he's not going the right way, because I feel like he's going the right way as long as he's acknowledging that he's not where he wants to be, because that makes you aware, okay, I'm not where I need to be. How do I get to where I need to be? But he has to shed all the other bullshit that tells him he should have done this and he should have been that, because that's programming. That's not his true authentic self. So that's what I'm getting. I hope that makes sense. My leg is asleep. Yeah, I hope that made sense. You're welcome. You're welcome. Whew. I'm gonna eat the rest of my Chinese food and I'm going to bed. So much love to y'all. I will catch you guys back Halloween because I got some stuff for y'all. So I'll be back. God bless you too. Thank you. Much love. And yeah, y'all have a good night. I don't know if you guys are, it's daytime, it's nighttime, if it's already Halloween or whatever where you are, but I will catch you guys on the flip side. Much love.